Picking the most underrated NFL players at every position. What does it mean for an NFL player to be underrated? In simple terms, it is someone who is better than the conventional wisdom suggests. But that can still mean a lot of different things. It could be that a player is misconstrued as good when they're actually great. It could mean a player is considered average by fans, but he's actually above average on the field. It can even point to a player being acceptably productive despite being criticized for being subpar. I went through the entire league to identify one player at every position who is currently underrated in some way, and you'll find instances of all three definitions on the list. Let's start with a quarterback who just cashed in on a massive extension, and we'll end with a punter who has largely flown under the radar. Many claim Purdy was an alleged MVP candidate in 2023 because he received too much help from San Francisco's offensive scheme and his talented teammates. Yet in 2024, while many of Purdy's teammates were injured, he still played very well. One area of outside help is the tremendous yards after catch production of the Kyle Shanahan offense. I have a model for OAC over expectation based on the air yards and location of each pass. The 49ers led the NFL in this metric for 6 straight years from 2018 through 2023, but they dropped to 6th last season. Purdy's overall numbers were strong anyway. Overall, Purdy performs well in metrics that try to separate a quarterback from his receivers and his blocking. For example, Purdy was 7th in the NFL with a 67.9 QBR for the 2024 season. Kevin Cole's adjusted quarterback efficiency, which attempts to adjust for everything from yards after the catch to drop passes, had Purdy 7th in value per play, 9th in total value. And Purdy was 4th in Ben Baldwin's adjusted EPA per play, which also has adjustments for pass protection. Does Purdy's huge contract extension mean he is no longer underrated? On the contrary, some of the criticism of the extension suggests people don't understand how much better Purdy has been compared to the other Shanahan quarterbacks in San Francisco. Running back, Chuba Hubbard, Carolina Panthers. Let's be honest, the public tends to think about running backs based on their fantasy football value. Hubbard was never one of the top 20 fantasy backs in his first 3 NFL seasons. Last season was his best performance as a pro, yet he was only 13th in fantasy points. He wasn't going to put up league-leading totals on a losing Carolina team that didn't allow him to run out the clock in victories. But did you realize that Hubbard had 1,195 rushing yards and scored 11 touchdowns? On a per-play basis, he was outstanding. Hubbard ranked 4th among qualifying running backs last season in NFL Next Gen Stats rushing yards over expectation per carry 1.1. It was his best year in that metric, but he was also above average in 2022 and 2023. The Panthers signed Rico Dowdle in free agency and drafted Trevor Etienne, but Hubbard should still be the clear #1 back for Carolina in 2025. Last year's second-round pick, Jonathan Brooks, is out for the upcoming season after his second ACL tear in 13 months. Wide receiver, Darius Slayton, New York Giants. Slayton wasn't supposed to be anything special as a 5th-round pick in 2019, but he started 9 games and caught 8 touchdown passes in his rookie season. Sure, he hasn't come anywhere close to that end-zone production since then, but the Giants played Slayton alongside Malik Nabers last season, and you need at least 2 starting wide receivers to survive in the modern NFL. Slayton caught 39 passes for 573 yards, which was convincing enough for the Giants to bring him back on a 3-year, $36 million contract. Tight end, Zach Ertz, Washington Commanders. It looked like Ertz's career might be over after he played only 7 games for the Cardinals in 2023 at age 33. But he had a big comeback season with the Commanders in 2024. Ertz caught 66 passes for 654 yards and 7 touchdowns, emerging as one of rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels' go-to receivers. Ertz also ranked 10th among tight ends in my DYR, defense-adjusted yards above replacement, metric. He had an 85.7% run-block win rate, one of the best figures among starting tight ends too. The Commanders re-signed Ertz to a 1-year, $6.25 million contract for 2025. They didn't add any other tight ends in free agency or the draft, signaling that they're keeping him in the starting role. Offensive tackle, Garrett Balls, Denver Broncos. After struggling early in his career, the 2017 first-round pick has developed into one of the top left tackles in the league. Balls is still waiting for his first Pro Bowl nod, but he was 7th among tackles in pass block win rate last season, 93.4%, and 13th in 2023, 91.6%.